I want you to picture two completely different moments. The first one happens every weekend on fields and courts across the country. The game ends. A young athlete climbs into the car after a tough loss. They're quiet. Maybe they're replaying every mistake. Maybe they're angry. Maybe they're pretending they're fine. Now, picture a completely different scene. A employee walks out of a difficult client meeting. Maybe a presentation didn't go well at all, or just didn't go as expected. They're quieter than normal. They're frustrated. They're embarrassed. Maybe they're pretending they're fine. Different ages, different life stages, different environments, the same pattern underneath. And the interesting thing that I've noticed after watching these moments on both sides for years is that the adults around those two people in their very different stages of life have the exact same instinct. Hi, I'm Sam, and welcome back to Locker Talk, where we talk about leadership and the life skills and behaviors under pressure that start in youth sports and become the skills that we need to really reach our potential as adults. And that same instinct that I see in the adults around those two individuals is to fix it. We start searching for the right words, the right lesson, the right piece of encouragement, the right coaching point. But what if that's the wrong place to start? One of the biggest mistakes I see, whether it's in sports, leadership, heck, even parenting, sometimes just relationships, it's assuming someone who's struggling needs immediate help. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're still trying to make sense of what just happened. Think about the athlete in the car. The game ended 10 minutes ago, but their emotions haven't. Now think about the employee who walked out of that meeting. The meeting may be over, but internally, they're still in it. They're replaying what they should have said, wondering what everyone else thinks, questioning themselves. Pressure doesn't disappear just because the event is over. Sometimes the event ends long before the experience does. This is why I talk so much about pressure, because I don't think that that pressure in either one of those two scenarios is creating the behavior. What I think is that it's really revealing how we respond to behavior or how we respond to these moments and to the situations that come up. It reveals how we respond to mistakes, how we currently respond to disappointment, to feedback, to uncertainty, to responsibility. One person might want to talk immediately, another needs an hour or a day. One person starts looking for solutions, another starts questioning themselves. Neither response in a moment tells us who that person is, what they need long term, but repeated responses over different situations, over multiple car ride homes, over a couple of different interactions with that employee reveal the patterns that we might see. And those patterns give us the development opportunities, which is why I think we should pay attention to those repeated patterns that we see. What I think most of us misunderstand is when someone we care about is hurting, our discomfort becomes part of the conversation. We don't just want them to feel better, we also want ourselves to stop feeling helpless. So we start talking, we start giving advice, we encourage, we coach, not because we're bad parents or bad leaders or bad friends, because helping feels active. It feels like we're doing something. It feels like we're working to alleviate the discomfort we feel in ourselves. And waiting feels passive. It feels like we have to sit in that discomfort so much longer. But sometimes waiting is the most intentional thing that you can do. Curiosity often accomplishes what advice never can get close to. So instead of asking, what should I say in this moment, try asking, what does this person need from me right now? Those are not the same questions. Some people, some athletes need space. Some need reassurance. Some need someone to simply listen. The same is true in leadership. Great leaders aren't the people who always have the right answer. They're the people who recognize when someone is ready to receive it. Timing matters, not just the truth, not just the information. One conversation rarely changes a relationship, right? One car ride home isn't going to make or break how your kid feels about you or the sport or their longevity or their performance. But patterns do change a relationship. If every difficult moment becomes a lecture, people stop bringing you difficult moments. Athletes stop talking on the drive home. Employees stop admitting mistakes. Teams stop asking for help. Not because they don't trust your advice, but because they don't trust what happens before it. It's built by knowing accountability comes with understanding. Psychological safety isn't built by avoiding accountability. It's built by knowing accountability comes with understanding. The reason I pay attention to youth sports is because I know where these patterns go, right? The athlete who learns that every mistake will immediately be analyzed often becomes the adult who hides mistakes. The athlete who learns difficult moments are safe places for honest conversation becomes the person who will ask for feedback, becomes that professional who's coachable at the end of the day. And that's why I love youth sports is that they reveal these patterns really early. So we don't have to wait to adulthood to fix these patterns that got developed early on. We can get ahead of them. We can expand the potential of who our kids can become if we're focused on how we're showing up and responding to the patterns that we're observing. And these are all things that are just behaviors that can be developed. So this week, whether you're sitting in the driver's seat after a tournament or maybe sitting across from someone after a difficult meeting, don't start by asking yourself, what should I say? Start with, what might this moment be revealing? Because pressure doesn't create the behavior, it reveals it. And if we slow down long enough to understand what pressure is showing us, we have a much better chance of helping someone grow through it instead of simply helping them get past it. And that's really the goal of the work that we're doing here. We don't want you to just move past a moment. We want you to recognize it, to understand it at a different level, and to work with it because the performance behaviors we see right now and those patterns that they reveal help shape the leadership and the adults that we become tomorrow. So hopefully this week's episode was helpful. I'd love to hear from you. If so, drop a comment, shoot me a message. I would love to hear. But until next week, I want you to put down the popcorn and get in the game.